Okay, good morning. Thank you for your attention and for your interest in ITEA. This webinar, we want to introduce you to ITEA as a tool to expand your business internationally. First, introduce myself. My name is Fokke Blok. I'm director of ITEA office, and I will present ITEA together with my colleague from ITEA office, Suki. Suki, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, myself. 안녕하세요, 반갑습니다. I'm Sugyang Shin from the ITEA office. I'm a program support officer here, and I take care of the funding status of the ITEA projects. And I'm also a first contact person for the project leaders regarding their project management issue.
Okay, thank you. And also in the background, we are supported by Kai and Johan from ITEA office and by Yuri from the EUREKA Secretariat. The process we want to go through is that we have a slide set to explain ITEA, to introduce you to some success stories of Korean partners in the ITEA projects. We will explain how to participate in ITEA, and finally we'll gladly invite you to the ITEA project outline preparation days in Stockholm in September. At the end there will be a question and answer session. We suggest that if there are any technical issues that you use the chat function for that. If you have contents questions, please you can use the question box. We will not address them normally during the session, but at the end during the Q&A. But at the Q&A we will also open the floor for a verbal Q&A. One comment, we will upload the presentation slides for sharing at the end of this webinar. So now we start the presentation. So as I said, ITEA 3, the EUREKA Cluster on software innovation, we hope we can show you that this is a good tool to internationalize your business throughout Europe and globally. ITEA is part ITEA is part of the EUREKA framework. EUREKA is a network of about 40 countries for market-oriented industrial R&D. You see the countries indicated. It started in Europe, but it has associated countries like Canada, Chile, and South Africa. Korea was an associated country, but has recently been promoted to become a partner country. Further, there are, you see the blue countries where there has been cooperation from within EUREKA. How does EUREKA fit in the European innovation landscape? Of course, we have the European programs for innovation. You see them at the left-hand side. It is based on a common European strategy, and programs are supporting that. You have the national programs. Many countries have their national priorities to develop critical mass or develop their leadership position and to differentiate their economies. And then you have EUREKA, which is a transnational program, which is intended to coordinate between the national strategies and leveraging the national strategies in a global setting. So EUREKA projects are funded by national programs usually. A bit on EUREKA projects. EUREKA projects are generally driven by industry, and they are supported by public authorities. And the best projects are covering the full value chain to create successful innovations. The full value chain from development, research, production towards the customer and the end user. An important point is that ITEA helps SMEs in particular to scale up in consortia with international large industry. We have many success stories where small companies are able to expand their business based on successful cooperation with a few global players. Well, ITEA and EUREKA is open to global cooperation. It is usually developed on the basis of bottom-up initiatives. Companies find each other and have an idea for an innovation together with their customers. And it's, of course, market-oriented. Clusters create impact. Of course, that is one of the reasons that public authorities support the clusters. Societal impact, employment, education, etc. Economic impact for the companies that participate. Innovation impact, standardization, IP. But they also help companies to create their network of cooperators in their ecosystem. Of course, cooperative projects generally increase the speed of innovation and also decrease the risk. Then ITEA. ITEA is in particular dealing with software innovation, stimulating transnational industry-driven R&D and I in software innovation. ITEA has a strong community with companies experienced in innovation in collaborative projects. We have many success stories leading to new businesses, extra jobs, growth, and societal benefits. What is important as a EUREKA cluster is that it is based on a trusted cooperation. The ITEA community is a community of companies who well, for a large part, know each other. It's open to newcomers, but based on the fact that the rules for example, confidentiality and IPR have been matured over many years, there is an atmosphere of trust. As there is trust, usually between industry and public authorities, there is very good cooperation in, for example, evaluation and monitoring of projects along their lifetime. Well, financing through national public and private funding. We have a high focus on commercialization of research results. We'll get to that later as well. And ITEA, our stakeholders maintain that we have a high quality process which is very flexible and supports the projects through their lifetime. The project monitoring is not a monitoring of ticking boxes on progress, but it's really guiding and coaching the projects to success. That's what our stakeholders tell us in the evaluation of our process. ITEA is bottom-up. Nevertheless, we can observe that there are some challenges that are central in the projects that are initiated by our community. They are indicated here. There are projects, also there are Korean participations in many of these areas. I'm not going to read them out, but they are important topics, of course. Digitization. ITEA is an association. I indicate the industry board members here. And down you see the flags of the countries that are involved in the management of ITEA. I can add that next to these countries also Canada and Korea play an equal role in the evaluation and support of these projects. Well, Some facts and figures. The total number of projects that we have had during the lifetime of the ITEA programs was over 250, a total budget of over 3 billion euros, and you see that there is a huge number of partners and that SMEs play a strong role. For example, in ITEA-3, which has now been running for 4 years, we have over 800 unique partners and over 400, nearly 450 SMEs. And with this, I would like to hand over to Suki to introduce the Korean participation in ITEA in particular.
So it's Sugyang again, and for your information, I speak fluent Korean. So at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A session. So if you need any language help, I can also translate your questions to you if it's necessary. So I want to share you with some kind of excellent figures for Korean partners. And as you can see in the past ITEA-3 calls, Korean partners have steadily participating in ITEA projects, and there are 32 unique Korean partners involved in the 11 label projects. And they are working in a total pool of more than 200 partners from worldwide. And throughout the history of the ITEA, there have been 23 ITEA projects with Korean partners in the size of more than 400 plus a year and 27,000 euro budget. And as you can see, projects with Korean partners are covering most of the ITEA Key challenges. And end of this year, we would like to see this list to be expanded with your future projects. And now on, Foke will introduce you more about the ITEA project success story with Korean partners.
Thank you. Yes, I want to mention first that we are working on an initiative we call the Impact Stream. You can see on the ITEA website very compactly written stories on the impact of ITEA projects, and you can select the successes in different dimensions. You can select per country, you can select per challenge, for example. So that's the impact stream in general. I have 3 specific examples with Korean participation. First of all, I would like to mention the InfoNet project, which is about big data for efficient electricity supply. The project was about energy management, it was about smart metering, and about real-time monitoring. What has happened there is that the results enabled energy efficiencies of between 5 and 10% and cost savings for the consumers of around 10%. And specifically in Korea, there was a project result to help establish, it was the company Wuam, it was a project result that helped to establish a smart grid testbed for the development of an electric vehicle charge infrastructure. So this was one of the very successful ITEA projects. Another example is ReconServe. ReconServe is about maritime surveillance. It deals with smart sensors, smart algorithms based on sensing from drones and improving the safety along the coast for that. It was seen as a very customer-oriented project, as the Turkish Coast Guard was one of the lead customers and participants in this project. You see under exploitation that the Korean company GMT had quite a big business success in that they tripled their turnover, and the quote is that it is fair to say that this would not have happened without our involvement in projects like ReconServe. So this is very strong success for this Korean company. By the way, in 2013, this project won the EUREKA Korea Day Award for the most innovative and commercially viable project. And you see on the slide that the Coast Guard was really involved, and there were drones and a big demonstration in the harbor of Antalya in Turkey. Well, the final example is the CAP project, which is a collaborative analytics platform. It's about big data and about sharing, the sharing of big data. It states a new range of business models, but what the project really did was developing a kind of a marketplace for big data. And one of the unique features is that it helps to establish metrics to evaluate certain big data sets, so that you can actually have a marketplace for big data where different companies can use each other's data sets. Here, one of the success stories was between A3 and InnoDep, where they managed to develop a new CCTV monitoring service based on a combination of data from accidents, from traffic, from weather, etc. And with that, they could help the surveillance to focus their attention on the most important places. So these are some examples of highlights of business successes for Korean partners in ITEA. Now I give the floor back to Suki to explain how to participate in practice in ITEA.
So how to participate in ITEA? So basically, ITEA projects are industry-driven, technically innovative, and it's also focused on the business research. And a typical ITEA project involved with 40 to 350 person a year, and they normally last for 3 years. And an ITEA project has well-balanced ecosystem in it. So the project consists of a large industry, SMEs, and research institution, and also university in one project. And to form an eligible ITEA project consortium, and you need at least 2 different organizations from 2 different countries. So one must be the EUREKA member country, and the other has to be either EUREKA member country or EUREKA associate country, and of course EUREKA partner country. So as a Korean project, for a Korean organization, they need at least 1 EUREKA member country organization to form a minimum size of the consortium. And of course, it's possible to have a partner from the non-EUREKA countries if the rest of partners agree with that. So I would like to go over our EUREKA process. And mainly, we have 3 big events called Project Outline Preparation Day event, and Project Outline Submission, and Full Project Proposal Submission. And before the ITEA Project Outline Preparation Day event, which is scheduled on 4th and 5th September, we launch a project idea tool on our ITEA community website. And there people can share their project ideas for the PO days. And also people can expose their profile based on their expertise so that people can find each other to develop the project idea. And during the event, of course, people can pitch their ideas there and for the develop their project idea. And after this PO day, those innovators together form an international consortium, and they work together for the project outline. And after they submit the project outline, those who are approved can submit the full project proposal. And if this full project proposal is again approved, then the project can get the ITEA label. And this ITEA label makes your project to be eligible for the national funding. And throughout this whole process, we are in close contact with the public authorities involved. And the project consortium also should be closely in contact with the public authorities. And let me go further more details in the evaluation process. So once the project outline PO is submitted, it is evaluated by ITEA industry expert, core steering group, and also by the public authorities who are going to fund your projects. So after their evaluation, they select good project outlines for the FPP phase, and this FPP, when they are selecting this proposal, they also give you a feedback about how to improve this proposal again. So taking that into account, the project consortium should work on the full project proposal, and this is again evaluated by the same steering group and the public authority. And once they approve the projects, then the project get the ITEA label. And once the project get the ITEA label, the partners can apply for the national fundings. And when key partners in the projects are funded, they are ready to launch their project. And I would like to quickly go over the Korean funding program too for you. First, our Korean public authority is KIAT, 한국산기술진흥원. Sorry. And the funding program from KIAT is called 국제공동기술개발사업. And the information we have here is for 2018. So for those projects that will be labeled next year, should go for the 2019 funding program, and the information will be published on KIAT's website in January 2019. But the funding terms and conditions will be the more or less same. And this KIAT's funding program is biannual program, so it opens in every March and June. But we would like to recommend you to go for the March round, because it's one budget for a year. So if many projects are funded in the first round, then of course there are less remaining budget in the second round. And the funding is mostly around 33 to 66% for a project cost per partner. And of course, this percentage depends on the size of your company and also the type of your organization. Any ITEA projects are eligible for the national funding, but KIAT has 5 priority fields. For example, electric or autonomous vehicle, Internet of Things, smart energy, bio and health, and semiconductor and display field. And for your information, after the completion of the project, funded Korean companies are eligible for the license fee that has to be paid to KIAT. And if you have any questions or inquiry regarding the Korean funding program itself, then please contact Ms. Heo Jung from KIAT. So I have tips for successful ITEA proposal preparation for you. The first and the most important tip is that you have to join a strong international consortium in the very beginning of the preparation. And to do so, you need to increase your visibility in the ITEA community by using the project idea tool, which is available now on our community website. And there you can just expose your profile, and you can also indicate what is your expertise so that people can find you and see you. And the same goes for the joining the PO days in 2018. It will be held in Stockholm. And there you can pitch your project ideas, and you can also see the other people's project idea where you can possibly join. And together with other innovators, you can co-develop the project ideas and also meet the reviewers and the public authority in person there. And after this project outline day, you have to co-write the project outline together with your international consortium. And I would like to highly recommend you to check the evaluation criteria available on our website, and also keep in contact with the KIAT to fine-tune your project proposal to have more higher chance to be funded later on. And also practical tip, because Korean partners are geographically far away with the rest of the international consortium, it's important to define the communication and meeting place clearly in advance so that you can collaborate with the rest of the consortium more easily. And after the project outline is approved, you will get the feedback from the steering group reviewers and the public authorities. And it is really important to take their feedback into account when you're writing the full project proposal. And they even check if this feedback have been taken into account or not. And the final tip is that high level of collaboration and good communication within this international consortium is really important throughout the entire life cycle of an ITEA project. So from now on, Folke will introduce you more about what is the project outline preparation days.
Okay. Yeah, so the project outline preparation days, they have a program. It's a program of 2 days. It starts the first day in the morning at 10. Around 10, we have poster sessions where you can present the ideas that you would like to push. There are brainstorm sessions where people can sit around the table and discuss their project outline. People can join there and go away again, and then people can combine ideas. The process is supported by the office by, at every moment, as good as possible, show you which kind of discussion is going on where, and how certain ideas are being merged or split up. In between, there are a few plenary sessions to present the rough project outlines, and there are people that the presenters can state what they still need or what they would like to add to their consortium. And also we have some plenary messages with tips on what are the recommendations to include your customers in the project, for example, to cover the full value chain, to think about standardization, these kind of things. It's seen as a lively event, about 300 participants. Last year in Berlin, we had participation from 18 countries. Before the event, 74 ideas had been uploaded in the project idea tool, and most of these ideas are then presented either in a short pitch session or with a poster session. And it's really a key event in the ITEA program because 87% of the 31 call for POs were initially presented at the PO days. So it's really a place that the community comes together. It has a healthy balance usually in its participants of, let's say, about 2/3 of people who have some experience in the program and 1/3 of new people who can use the experience of the others to set up a successful project. We included some evaluation quotes by the participants. I'm not going to read them out, but you can see that people usually find it a good event. So we already say now, save the date, join our ITEA PO days at 4 and 5 September in Stockholm. I want to give you still one more element for this, and that is a specific feature of the ITEA program, which is the annual customer workshop, which we have. And the idea is that we set up a small workshop with limited participation on a specific topic that we think and that our community thinks is important for the future, and where we bring together potential customers and end users who share the problems they are facing or the challenges they are facing with technology providers and the set of SMEs. We have started this concept of customer workshops because we learned that many of the strong success stories are based on involvement of customers from the beginning in the innovation project, and this workshop is a means to create good ideas for the next call. And this year, in June, we had such an international customer workshop on smart communities in Kortrijk, and there were several topics that came out of this session on heterogeneous communities cooperation or optimization in hospitals. One of the issues that showed there was that some can optimize the workflow from the patient perspective or from the equipment and the instrument perspective, but combined optimization of the workflow for both patients and for the expensive equipment remains a big challenge. Also, another example is one in the manufacturing area, where increasingly people face the situation that regulations force people to have very detailed tracking and tracing of materials and half products, and dealing with that in the smart manufacturing environment also came across as one of the issues. Of course, also learning in the working situation, many elements of that. So usually we see that there is a slight overdose of project proposals in this area, in the area of the user work, of the customer workshop in the next call. So there may be some extra attention for these kind of topics in the next call. It's by no means intended to make ITEA a top-down program, of course. It is more to support the people in an important area, to give them some extra guidelines on what could be a good project. So I recommend you the full report of this workshop, which is at our website. The link is there. So I think that concludes our slide set. So we would like to close our presentation with a very warm invitation to attend our PO preparation days in 2018 in the beautiful city of Stockholm. You are cordially invited to join us there and expand your business based on a strong international project. And with that, we conclude our presentation, and I'm looking that there are many questions that we have to address, or hands that are being raised.
I see the questions about after the label. It is possible to get the rejection of the funding from KIAT. It's actually technically possible because the national funding evaluation is an independent process from the ITEA labeling process. So if the application has a problem, or maybe there's too much competition in that year, it is still possible that the funding application gets rejected. But because KIAT has a biannual program, and you can try for the March round, and if it's not successful, as far as I know, it's still possible to try funding application again in June.
Clear?
I see you're asking that if it's possible to move on the next term. So if a partner cannot get a funding, then, and if the second trial of the funding application didn't work, then the partner should decide whether or not to participate in the project based on their own resources, or if it's not possible, then partner has to unfortunately leave the project. I hope my answer is clear for you. Please let me know if you have any other questions here. I see your extra question. In case one of the partners is dropping out from the project, for the rest of the partner, it's possible to continue their project going on. And if there's any changes in the project itself, then the project leader needs to submit a change request to formalize this change situation. But as long as the consortium has an eligible size of the ITEA projects, like 2 different countries from 2 different organizations, it's possible for these projects to survive without certain partners. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Is there any questions from the other people too? So I just answered questions about if it's possible to get your funding application get rejected after the labeling, and if it's also possible to continue the projects without the funding application in case some partners are leaving the project. And my answer was yes. And I also get another question from ITEA-KIAT, and this question is about when you already have a EUREKA project, it is possible to get also the ITEA project. I don't know what do you mean by you have a EUREKA project, but of course you are able to participate in a multiple project. And I also see some of the partners are in several projects in the same call. And there is no problem in terms of the Korean public authorities' perspective too. I hope my answer was clear. Do you have any other extra questions? Yes.
See any more questions?
Let me see more. We have a questions from Kim Young-sun, and what are the overview of the participations of the is it Korean companies or the other companies? At this moment, and every time we have around 40 ITEA projects running there, and every project has a different size, but most of the ITEA projects has large industry and SMEs and the research organization and universities all together. And at this moment, all the running, at this moment on this slide about the Korean ITEA 3, 1 to 4 participation, you can see the full list of the projects the Korean partners are participating. And those are, it's hard to say which kind of organizations are participating more, but it's well-balanced size of SMEs and the universities, and also the government research institutions. We also have a big company like Samsung participating in an ITEA project too. And you can also go to our public website and see what kind of projects are available and what types of partners are participating in ITEA projects. And you can also filter Korean specifically, what kind of Korean partners are participating, which kind of ITEA projects. I hope my answer is clear, and if you have any extra questions, please ask me. Okay, let me see other question. So after the completion of the projects, the research, the question is about after the completion of project, is the research of the project published? Yeah, I think my colleague you.
Yes, so indeed, after a project ends, of course, a project will then also have a final review. And what from communication side will be published is that we will have several publications for a project. For instance, like a project results leaflet, a short A4 information leaflet of a project. But next to that, we also try for each project to disseminate the results via various communication means, and we also use a publication that we have just released, what we call the impact stream, to also highlight certain success stories of ITEA, to disseminate indeed the impact and the results of projects. But of course, we have also our regular means, like for instance, a magazine or a newsletter, in which we use indeed the project results to promote not only ITEA, but definitely also the consortium partners.
Of course, not all results need to be published. We publish the results that the consortium wants to publish. Of course, there may be confidential results in the project that they do not publish. Are there still questions left? Maybe I include in the meantime that we have uploaded the slide set so that you can check them afterwards and come with questions back to us whenever you have them. I'm still looking whether there are any forgotten questions, any missed questions.
And I think the question we have answered is also about the evaluation of the project. So ITEA project is under the two different types of the evaluation. One is called project review, which is a physical meeting, and that happens around once a year. And the other evaluation is a biannual project report. And this type of the evaluation is confidential within the consortium, but it's open for of course, the reviewers. And this evaluation result is also visible and accessible for the public authorities too. And the public authorities can also participate in the physical project review meeting. And this information, it can be only shared in the consortium and the reviewers and the public authorities, and for the practical reason for ITEA office too. But it's not published, and those evaluation results is confidential. And we have another questions about if depending on the result of the evaluation, if it's possible to get some kind of restriction on the participation. And I think the question has to go to Korean public authorities, KIAT, because they have also funding terms and conditions depend between the partners and public authority. And in our perspective, unless the partners are organizing and running the projects in the frame of our ITEA rules and regulation. We don't have a specific measure that restrict the participation of a partner again to the ITEA community. And we monitor the quality of the projects, it hardly happens, but there can be a restriction from our side and the KIAT side too. But in terms of the project quality, in our perspective, as long as the project runs in the line of the ITEA frame agreements and the rules and regulations, we don't put a specific restriction for your participation again. And I see another question about once the project is labeled and the consortium formation has been finalized, is it possible to participate in the ITEA project afterward? It is possible. So after the labeling of the project, if there is still a need to strengthen the consortium, it's possible for a partner to join and label projects if the project leader and the rest of the international consortium agree with that. And this process can be officialized with the change request process. And I see another question, how many times do you have for PO, do you have PO days in a year? We have it once a year. And the next PO days will be 4th and 5th September in Stockholm. I also see another question. Is it only possible for software related projects to be in the ITEA project? Is it also open for the semiconductor and ASIC IC chip development field can also be ITEA projects?
Yeah, usually it is not the focus of the research, but the focus is usually then on the application.
So the answer is
yes. So the answer is yes, you can participate, but the focus of the project should be not on the development of the IC. Usually, this is not what is in the heart of our projects. There are other EUREKA clusters, for example, Penta, which is more in the IC semiconductor related area.
And I see an additional remark from the Korean Public Authorities. There is a possibility for KIAT to restrict the participation of Korean partners, but that hardly, or there are not many cases like that so far. And I believe that I have covered all of your questions. And could you ask us again if you have any extra questions or inquiry for us? We're still here. So we have a new questions about how do you take care of the project cost?
What is the question? I'm
trying to translate it. So in our perspective, when you are a part of the ITEA projects, you have to indicate your organization information on our community website, and there you need to indicate what is the project effort of your organization and what is the project cost of your organization. And the cost here means the eligible budget, which is indicated on your funding contract between you and KIAT. and we check and we track down if the effort has been spent and as planned before via the biannual project report, but we do not track down how the CREATE partners use and take care of their project funding and so on. But there can be a certain process like that in KIAT side. So we check what is the eligible planned cost of the project partner, but we do not really track down and we do not require some kind of sort of track down history about how the funding has been used and so on. But I believe that there is a process like that for between KIAT and the Korean partners. Okay, so you understand the project funding is indeed taken care by the KIAT, and we only collect the information about what is the size of the budget that has been approved by KIAT.
Are there any further questions? If not, then there is one.
There is an answer from the Korean Public Authority. So KIAT does provide funding for the Korean consortium, and there is a process of budget track down annually by KIAT.
Okay. Okay. So we do not hear any further questions. Then I thank all attendants, all participants for their time and interest in ITEA. And I thank the team on this side and Haivuk in KIAT for supporting some of the answers. I invite you, if there are any questions also based on the presentation, don't hesitate to contact us. But most of all, of course, we hope to see you in our IDEA tool with new ideas for projects and in our project outline preparation days in Stockholm. And with that, I close the session. Thank you.
감사합니다.